Is everybody ready? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Kent County Levy Court Combined Meeting Notice Agenda. Kent County Levy Court Administrative Complex, 555 Bay Road, Dover, Delaware. Levy Court Chamber Room 203, Tuesday, May 31st, 2004. Over to the County Administrator, have him explain how people can join us for the meeting for both.
Thank you, Mr. President. This meeting is being held in person at 555 Bay Road, Dover, Delaware, in room 203. We're also making it available via the internet through WebEx. Participants can join us by computer or by phone during the meeting. There will be opportunities for public comment from those attending in person or online. When the President opens a public comment period, those attending the meeting in person may step forward to one of the two microphones and be recognized. If you're joining us by phone and wish to comment, please press *3, which will raise your electronic hand. Our operator will identify you and bring you into the meeting. Pressing *6 will mute and unmute your line. If you're participating online, you will see a hand and microphone icon at the bottom of your screen. We ask that you use those at the appropriate times. We ask guests to begin public comments with your name and address for the record. The county attorney will administer an oath or affirmation to anyone giving public testimony during a public hearing. We ask that public comments relate to the subject announced by the President. There is a period for general public comment near the beginning of the meeting. This meeting is being recorded and will follow all the rules of procedure adopted by the Levy Court as well as the Masons Rules of Orders. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. Let the record show we have 6 present commissioners here, and President Pepper is online with us. First up tonight is Public Works, Mr. Hertz, Chair.
Yeah, we're introducing LC 24-11. I'll bring Miss Diana Gold up to explain it. Thank you.
So we have a proposed revision of the Kent County Sewer Code. It's for Chapter 180. It's to address damages caused by discharges to the county sewer system through civil fines and identify enforcement measures for violations. It assigns authority to the Public Works Director. So we're adding some definitions for infrastructure and private sewer. We're also looking at use of sewers restricting discharges that cause damage to infrastructure. And we're giving the Public Works Director authority to inspect and sample private sewer, establish enforcement mechanisms for noncompliance, and provide ability to seek and impose fines and pursue legal action. The ordinance was prepared by outside attorneys, and it was reviewed by the Sewer Advisory Board on May 1st, and they're in support of it. So the ordinance has been prepared, and later on this evening, I hope that you'll introduce it, Commissioner Hertz. And the department is recommending the introduction, and it'll be followed by a public hearing on June 4th.
Thank you, sir. Diana, the only problem I have with this is the definition of private sewer. I know that it includes only that which is connected to the county sewer, but isn't the sewer system I have at my house that empties into a drain field also considered a private sewer by DENREC standards?
Yes. So there's a point from at your property, or it depends on the situation, but we'll use the typical situation. There's a demarcation point, which is typically the clean out at the front of the property. But if we have some easements and sewers that come through the back of the property, it's usually at the first clean out inside the property is where the demarcation is between what's private sewer and what is considered county sewer.
Right, but that's, the definition that we have in this document specifies that it's connected to the county. I'm not connected to the county, but I still have a private sewer, and I want to make sure there's no
Because you're
confusion.
on a septic system?
Yes,
This says that it has to be connected directly or
county.
indirectly to the county sewer
Okay.
system in the definition.
I just want to make sure that the public doesn't perceive any confusion with private sewer, meaning that the Public Works Director could impact their septic system.
No,
because it's
this
considered
has to do with connection to the county
okay.
system. Now, whereas there's another component there.
Right.
If we're doing a septic elimination project and a district extension is done, such as Hartley, anyone who's in that district when it's formed is required to connect to the county sewer. So there is a point, not necessarily with this language, but where, when we're doing a septic elimination project, where all projects all properties within the project area would be required to connect to county sewer.
Okay.
Any other questions?
A simpler, I think, way of looking at it is generally when we talk about septic systems, we mean private where there's no connection to a package plant or public system. When we talk about sewer, the general implication is that it's connected to some kind of public system somewhere. So there are regulations over septic, but those are generally regulations that are managed at the state level as opposed to the local level in terms of things like septic replacement areas, that kind of thing.
Yeah, septics are
Thank you.
usually DEMREC. My thing is, what are the penalties? Where are they laid out at?
So there are penalties laid out in terms of fines in an appendix to Chapter 180. And they include fines per day. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to come up with, believe they could start at as much as $1,000 a day.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
I think regarding the penalties, I think the larger thing that we'd be looking for is, as opposed to just levying fines, in many cases, the amount of damage that's done is far exceeds what we can do in terms of fines. I think the other point would be to require a significant user to make improvements, like installing treatment equipment that would mitigate the problem, because the goal is to fix the issue, and you can't necessarily find someone doing that. But what we could do is we could essentially do something along the lines of a consent order and say, we're going to make these improvements, and then we're going to charge you through your sewer bill to pay for them. And if you don't pay your sewer bill, you face different kind of challenges. But I mean, just charging them X dollars isn't necessarily the way to get them to comply. This is more for the large users as opposed to small households or commercial users. But sometimes particularly large industrial users can have the kind of effluent that damages our system.
I mean, we have on the smaller private systems had where a pipe was dissolved by chemicals being used for refinishing of antiques. So it has to do with what the wastewater is. As Ken mentioned, that the code change includes compliance schedules, plans for corrective action by the user who we believe is causing the problem. So that is outlined under Article 3, use of public sewers, so that we may get corrective measures put in place.
Okay, thank you. No more questions? Any public comments for? Is there anyone online, Mark?
If there's anyone joining us online that would like to make public comments at this time regarding the ordinance LC 2411, please indicate by raising an electronic hand. I see no hands raised, Mr. Chair.
Any against online, Mark?
Still no hands raised online, Mr. Chair.
All right. No. Turn it back to you, Mr. President.
Mr. Hurt, you want to get us to move it forward to the business meeting?
Let's move it forward to business meeting. See if consensus.
6 up, Mr. President, you on?
6 in favor. Thank you. Okay, it's, adjourned.
Yeah, I'm still on.
We got you counted now, sir.
I'm still,
7 in,
Okay,
7 in
thanks.
favor, moving it forward. Thank you. Adjourn to the business meeting. Call the meeting to order and have the pledge by Ms. Maston, pledge of allegiance by Mr. Scott, Commissioner Scott, and moment of silence for our troops and first responders, Commissioner Sweeney.
Might want to take a break.
In my haste, I'm sorry, we have to take a recess till 7 o'clock.
The GIS position down in planning is being removed, correct? That's what we agreed upon?
I think it's not, the full-time position is not in the budget for the coming fiscal year. What is in the budget is a lesser amount to provide contractual services to provide GIS administration.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify. That's the way I understood it as well. And then the second thing I had was the reclassifications is going to be for all departments, correct?
Yes, well, I mean, without having the list in front of me, probably all departments, I'm not sure every division has a reclassification, but it is the list that we were working on as a senior management team.
Thank you. That's the only 2 questions I had.
Okay, thanks for reminding me. It is 6:41. Business meeting starts at 7 p.m. sharp. We'll recess till 7 p.m. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We're going to reconvene our business meeting. We'll have a call to order. Pledge of allegiance invocation by Commissioner Maston. Pledge of allegiance by Commissioner Scott. A moment of silence for our troops and first responders. Commissioner Sweeney, please stand.
Almighty God, may your grace cover each aspect of this meeting. We pray that all voices will be heard and that we will have a mindset of inclusivity. May this be a safe place for people to express their opinions and a place where ideals matter more than titles. May everyone be engaged and involved, and may all concerns be addressed. May each member of this team feel valued, and may we each recognize the skill sets and knowledge that each of us persons bring to the table. Amen.
Indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our military, law enforcement, firefighters, paramedics, and other first responders who have given their lives in the line of duty. Please remember these individual first responders who died in line of duty, as well as keeping their families in your thoughts and prayers as they deal with the loss of their loved ones. In the military, Master at Arms Lyndon Cosgriff Flax from the United States Navy Security Forces. Law enforcement, Investigator John Cadeau from the Harris County Sheriff's Office of Texas. Police Officer Kyle Hicks from Corpus Christi Police Department in Texas. Sergeant Ian Taylor from the Billerica Police Department in Massachusetts. Police Officer Russell Croxton from the Dubach Police Department, Louisiana. Police Officer Joshua Iyer from the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department, North Carolina. Investigator Samuel Peloche from the North Carolina Department of Adult Correction. Investigator William Elliott from the North Carolina Department of Adult Correction. Deputy U.S. Marshal Thomas Weeks from the United States Department of Justice, U.S. Marshal Service. Trooper Marcellus Bethay from the New Jersey State Police. Sergeant Bill Hooser from the Setauquan Police Department in Utah. Police Officer Jacob Durbin from the Euclid Police Department in Ohio. Firefighters Chief Leland Alexander from the Milledgeville Fire Department, Volunteer Fire Department in Tennessee, and Captain Derek Nestor of the Wyomissing Fire Department in Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Lori, please call roll for a quorum.
Mr. Hall,
Present.
Mr. Hertz,
Here.
Mrs. Maston,
Present.
Mr. Pepper,
Here.
Mr. Scott,
Here.
Mr. Sweeney,
Here.
Mr. Angel,
Present.
Mr. Vice President. Roll call reveals 7 present.
Let the record show there's 7 in favor. Thank you. Need a motion and a second for adoption of the agenda.
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Scott, seconded by Commissioner Sweeney. Any further discussion? Ms. Tanaka, please call roll.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. Hertz,
Yes.
Mrs. Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Pepper,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
Mr. Angel,
Yes.
excuse me. Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Again, let the record show there's 7 in favor. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we have public comments on our agenda items. If there's anything on our agenda for tonight that you'd like to speak before we vote, now's the time to come forth. Seeing nobody coming forth, need a motion and a second on consent items.
Motion to accept consent agenda 24-04.
Let the record show, Commissioner Masson makes a motion, Mr. Sweeney makes a second. Any further discussion? Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. Hertz,
Yes.
Mrs. Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Pepper,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
Mr. Angel,
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
The record shows all in favor. Thank you. Presentations. Resolution 4049 proclaiming May 18th to the 24th as National Safe Boating Week. Ms. Tanaka, if you can read that into the record, please.
Whereas during National Safe Boating Week, the United States Coast Guard and the National Safe Boating Council, along with federal, state, and local safe boating partners, encourage all boaters to explore and enjoy America's beautiful waters responsibly. And whereas through basic boating safety procedures, carrying life-saving emergency distress and communication equipment, wearing life jackets, attending safe boating courses, participating in free boat safety checks, and staying sober when navigating, we can help ensure boaters on America's coastal, inland, and offshore waters stay safe throughout the season. And whereas Safe Boating Week is observed to bring attention to important life-saving tips for recreational boaters so that they can have a safer, more fun experience out on the water throughout the year. And whereas the vast majority of boating accidents are caused by human error and poor judgment, and not by the boat, equipment, or environmental factors. Now therefore be it resolved that the Kent County Levy Court does hereby proclaim May 18 through May 24th, 2024 as Safe Boating Week in Kent County, and urge our fellow citizens to practice safe boating habits by always wearing a life jacket while boating. Be it further resolved that this resolution be and hereby is incorporated into the official minutes of the May 21st, 2024 meeting of the Kent County Levy Court.
Thank you. This is a resolution.
Move to approve Resolution 4049 proclaiming May 18th through 24th as National Safe Boating Week.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Sweeney, second by Commissioner Scott. Any further discussion? Ms. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. Hertz,
Yes.
Mrs. Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Pepper,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney, Mr. Angel,
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. If we could have all the commissioners come up front and have the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary Bill Pettigrew meet us up front to present this, please. Sir? Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Well, if we don't have any background noise, I was asked to ask Mr. Pepper to turn back his noise if he could, but I don't hear it now. So anyway, thank you for what you do. And you know, boating is that's an American way of life, just like hunting is when we first started. But thank you for what you do and keeping things safe in our community. And I just hope people really follow the rules and regulations. Thank you. So, Ms. Maston?
Thank you, sir, for all you do.
thank you for everything that you do.
We are without a doubt a coastal community. So there's a lot of boats out there. So I know your job is constantly on alert for anybody who's doing wrong in a boat. And we appreciate everything that you do because they may not realize that they're not the only ones that are putting at risk. There's many other people out there in boats who are at risk as well. So thank you.
Thank you for everything you do.
I've been 31 years on the Coast Guard myself. Very much appreciate what you do out there and keeping our folks safe.
I just want to say this is the first time the Coast Guard has been in the majority up here because every other branch, I think, is represented. This is the first time you guys have doubled this up. Thank you.
Your turn, sir. Thank you. What I wanted to mention to anybody in Kent County, if you'd like to get a free Coast Guard Auxiliary vessel exam, you can go on our website and just Google U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary and go vessel exam, and we will actually come to your location. If you're a member of a marina or any organization and everybody wants to bring their boats out that day, we can arrange a day for that as well. It's not just National Safe Boating Week, it's all year round. So you may not know of any new regulations that might mean the difference of life and death. So please go on the website and accept a free vessel exam, and thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Lori, can you read the next one in the record for Public Works Week, please?
Whereas Public Works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Kent County, Delaware. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of Public Works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems. Public buildings and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens, and whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Kent County, Delaware, to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association. Now therefore be it resolved that the Kent County Levy Court does hereby proclaim May 19th through May 25th, 2024 as Public Works Week in Kent County, and urge all citizens to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and advancing quality of life for all. Be it further resolved that this resolution be and hereby is incorporated into the official minutes of the May 21st, 2024 meeting of the Kent County Levy Court.
All right, Commissioners, I need a motion and a second.
I'd like to approve motion 4053, National Public Works Week.
Commissioner Hertz first, and Commissioner Scott seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye? Thank you. Ms. Diana, if you can come forth, please. advancing the quality of life for all. For those who don't remember 30, 35 years ago, we had a certain aroma in our county that we couldn't get rid of. And it changed over the years because of the quality of life and the people we put in place to manage that. And now you don't even know we have a septic system when you go drive by. So that infrastructure today, even though it's old, we know we have to do some work with it, but geez, what a difference in all those years. And so we have great people that work for us and do this for us, so thank you.
Diana, you've made my 3 years such a pleasure, and you've always been an absolute delight to work with, and this honor couldn't be more fitting for you than to recognize it during the Public Works. Thank you for everything.
Diane, as always, there are certain positions throughout the county that are just not recognized, not appreciated, because they don't get to see firsthand what the individuals actually do. And I think Public Works is one of those departments as well. So thank all the staff for everything that they do, and thank you for your leadership that you've given.
Diana, please share this with everybody in the Public Works Department. It's very important that they recognize or they know that we feel that they're doing a great job and you represent the county well, and thank you very much.
Yeah, Diana, thank you for all that you do in your entire department. They do a great job from A&D all the way down to Covey and everybody at the plant. Thank you.
Yeah, I remember years ago when we first met, you gave me a tour of the plant, and I gained a great appreciation for what your department does and how important that is to everyone in the county. So pass my thanks along to everyone.
I have a tremendous amount of respect for our public safety in all our departments, but I always joke that if you turn off what you do in about 48 to 72 hours, the county would be a very different place. So thanks on behalf of you and your department.
Thank you. Mr. Pepper, President Pepper, say anything, sir?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Diana. Great job. Thank you, Diana. Great job. You and your department. Keep up the work.
Okay. Come right here, please. Oh, yes. We're going to get our picture taken, then I'll let you speak.
Well, I just want to thank my department, maintenance workers, maintenance mechanics, wastewater operators, biosolids operators, office support, GIS technicians. Without those people, we can't do what we need to do. Public Works is there. Sometimes we're the people behind the scenes. We aren't necessarily recognized that we're there. Everybody is happy to know that we're there, but if something doesn't work, they're not very happy. But I'm very grateful for our staff that helps put out a great effort to keep our system running, keep the odors down, keep keep everything running. Of course, there are those times where we have some incidents, and we do an awesome job of taking care of things in an emergency. So I thank everyone, and I thank the commissioners.
And we thank you. Oh, we got one more. Okay, Lori, if you want to read in the next resolution, please, for Mr. Conrad. I'm sorry, Floyd and Bunch. I'm sorry.
Kent County Department heads have selected Justin L. Conrad from the Department of Public Safety, Emergency Medical Services Division as the June 2024 Employee of the Month. Justin is the EMS Operations Officer in the EMS Division and started with Kent County in January of 2014. Justin began his career with the county as a paramedic 1, later promoted to paramedic 2 in January of 2016. During his tenure as a medic 2, Justin served as a field training officer, assisting and educating newer medics while earning his master's degree from Wilmington University, majoring in business administration with a concentration in healthcare administration. After 3 years of servicing as the field training officer, Justin was promoted to paramedic 3, sergeant in November 2019, and was ultimately promoted operations officer, captain, in February 2022. Justin's primary role is to supervise and coordinate all operations within the department, including scheduling and implementing special events and readiness functions. He develops programs for both the department and community events and oversees all operational aspects of the MS division. Justin also oversees all fleet management, scheduling vehicle maintenance and repairs, and ensuring the maintenance of stations and facilities. His duties also encompass coordinating and managing grant funds, staffing resources for special events, and liaising with local fire departments. According to the Director of Public Safety, Chief Kevin Sipple, Captain Justin Conrad has distinguished himself through his exceptional leadership and transformative approach in the operations captain role. He has diligently streamlined daily operations, optimizing the efficiency of our ordering processes and fleet management. At headquarters, Captain Conrad has expertly reorganized systems and procedures to foster greater productivity and organization. His dedication to operational excellence and ability to drive significant improvements have set a high standard within our team. We are grateful for his unwavering commitment and the positive impact he continues to make each day. Congratulations, Justin, on a job well done, and he resides in Sussex County. The tribute reads, Kent County Levy Court, June 2024. Employee of the Month, Justin L. Conrad. On this, the 21st day of May, 2024, the Levy Court of Kent County, State of Delaware, does hereby recognize Justin L. Conrad, EMS Operations Officer, Department of Public Safety, EMS Division, for his exceptional initiative, dedication, and conscientiousness in the delivery of services to the citizenry of the county.
Thank you. Justin, you want to come down, please? Scoot down, please. And as he's coming forth, thank you, sir, for everything you do. And as the Chief of Operating Services, streamlining and educating our new paramedics and making sure everything is being done in an operational way. We want to thank you for that, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Justin, if you want to. It's truly an honor and a pleasure to present this to Justin. I've known Justin for a number of years. We've traveled on many different calls together when Justin was on a street unit every day. One call that particularly sticks out in mind is we were out west of Felton, out on Chiefs. I was on Felton's ambulance, and Justin was on the county medic unit. And let's just say we ended up going through a bean field to take an assault victim to the helicopter, and I think it had rained about 3 days before, and it didn't look good when we came back through. But Justin was always very aggressive, good medic, and very dedicated and loyal to the job. So it gives me great honor to stand here and present this to you this evening. Thank you.
Justin, congratulations on your accomplishment. Goodness knows many of us had to use the paramedics before, and I can tell you personally I'm very appreciative, but let's hope you're back here in December.
Congratulations, Justin. Our assistant director, John Tinger, is sitting in the back room. His back is bothering him, so he wasn't able to make it down here, but I'm sure he'll agree with my comments. Justin, you do a phenomenal job for public safety. Just by listening to the bio, that doesn't touch half of what he does. Justin's the type of employee, you give him something, you can walk away, it's done. From fleet maintenance to just this weekend, he was out to Dover Air Force Base for the air show. He does a phenomenal job for anything that he does in charge of the operations of the EMS division. Does a phenomenal job for us. So Justin, thank you on behalf of all the employees of public safety for what you do.
President Pepper, you going to say something, sir?
Of course. Justin, outstanding. Outstanding job as always. We appreciate everything you do for us. Thanks a lot.
Justin, all the stuff that's been read about you and that the chief said about you, and I'm sure agrees. But I can tell you that I'll be getting a lot of mileage out of making sure that the Sussex County Council knows that a Sussex County resident is now the Kent County Employee of the Month. Congratulations.
By the time it gets to me, everybody's already said everything, but thank you very much for all that you do. I hear you're a big asset over there at public safety, and I appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic job. Thanks for all you do for the residents of our county, even though you're from the other county.
Well, I'm not surprised that John hurt his back. I told him when he's picking up something as heavy as the public safety budget, lift with your legs and not with your back. I just want to say I really appreciate Justin being willing to put forth ideas about how we can make things better. His openness and candor through the budget process in particular was refreshing. So keep up the good work.
I just want to say thank you for this award and being nominated. You know, I've been here for a little over 10 years. I'm proud to be a part of a great team, not just in the EMS division, but with the whole public safety and with the county as a whole. So thank you for this. It's nice to be recognized, and it's nice to hear the nice things from others. So, thank you.
Okay, now we're done.
You're sure? Okay.
Okay. We have 4 retirements tonight that nobody can make it tonight because they were retired. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and read all resolutions. 4050 for Kathy Finney, 4051 for Teresa Carter, 4052 Lloyd Runzer, and 4054 Scott McMillian. We'll read those in the record, then we'll make one vote and have them on their way for happy retirement to enjoy. So, Ms. Kanak, if you could read those in the record, please.
This is Resolution 4050, retirement of Kathy J. Finney. Whereas the retirement of Kathy J. Finney, an employee of Kent County, State of Delaware, from her duties as Office Support Specialist 2 in the Department of Administration, County Administrator's Office, presents a suitable opportunity for expressing the esteem in which we hold Kathy J. Finney as a good and faithful public servant. Therefore, be it resolved that the County of Kent express its warmest appreciation and thanks to Kathy J. Finney for the able and loyal manner in which she performed her public duties. Be it further resolved that this resolution be her evidence of a right to the pension provided by the Kent County Employees Retirement Program, and that this resolution be and hereby is incorporated into the official minutes of the May 21st, 2024 meeting of the Kent County Levy Court. Resolution 4051, retirement of Teresa L. Carter. Whereas the retirement of Teresa L. Carter, an employee of Kent County, State of Delaware, from her duties as Accountant 1 in the Department of Finance, Accounting Section, presents a suitable opportunity for expressing the esteem in which we hold Teresa L. Carter as a good and faithful public servant. Therefore, be it resolved that the County of Kent express its warmest appreciation and thanks to Teresa L. Carter for the able and loyal manner in which she performed her public duties. Be it further resolved that this resolution be her evidence of a right to the pension provided by the Kent County Employees Retirement Program, and that this resolution be and hereby is incorporated into the official minutes of the May 21st, 2024 meeting of the Kent County Levy Court. Resolution 4052, retirement of Lloyd A. Runser. Whereas the retirement of Lloyd A. Runser, an employee of Kent County, State of Delaware, from the duties as Electrician 1, Department of Public Works, Wastewater Facilities Division, presents a suitable opportunity for expressing the esteem in which we hold Lloyd A. Runser as a good and faithful public servant. Therefore, be it resolved that the County of Kent express its warmest appreciation and thanks to Lloyd A. Runser for the able and loyal manner in which he performed his public duties. Be it further resolved that this resolution be his evidence of a right to the pension provided by the Kent County Employees Retirement Program, and that this resolution be and hereby is incorporated into the official minutes of the May 21st, 2024 meeting of the Kent County Levy Court. Resolution 4054, retirement of Scott A. McMillan. Whereas the retirement of Scott A. McMillan, an employee of Kent County, State of Delaware, from his duties as EMS Field Supervisor, Department of Public Safety, Emergency Medical Services Division, presents a suitable opportunity for expressing the esteem in which we hold Scott A. McMillan as a good and faithful public servant. Therefore, be it resolved that the County of Kent express its warmest appreciation and thanks to Scott A. McMillan for the able and loyal manner in which he performed his public duties. Be it further resolved that this resolution be his evidence of a right to the pension provided by the Kent County Employees Retirement Program, and that this resolution be and hereby is incorporated into the official minutes of the May 21st, 2024 meeting of the Kent County Levy Court.
All right, we have 4050, 4051, 4052, and 4054. I need a motion and a second, please.
Mr. Vice President, I make a motion for Resolution 4050, 4051, 4052, and 4054.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Scott, seconded by Commissioner Maston. Any further discussion? Ms. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Records show there's 7 in favor of the retirements. Thank you. Before I open up the public hearings, I want to make a quick comment. Because we had 4 people retiring and they couldn't make it for the retirement, I did move up our Employee of the Month because he was with EMS, to move him, to get him acknowledged and get him back into service in case there was an emergency needed. So, Levy Court Commissioners, thank you. So, Trudy, introductions, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. We did hire 2 employees in the month of April, and one is unable to attend. That is in Public Works down at the treatment plant. But the first I would like to introduce is from the Department of Administration. Her name is Danielle Patterson. She started her position as a human resources assistant in the Human Resources Department on April 1st, 2024. Most recently, she worked as an administrative assistant at Delaware State University, and prior to that, also at Delaware State, she was a credit and collections coordinator. And Danielle resides in Commissioners Halls and Peppers districts. I'd like to say that Danielle has been more than an asset to the Human Resources Department or office. From day one, this smile that she has just, it's radiated our department, and the knowledge and the capabilities and the skill set that she brings to the office. We're just very thankful to have such an asset to add to a great department, and one of the best departments in Department of Administration, if I might say. But I'll let her say a few things, but I would like if Lauren or Ken, if they would have something to add, or if they have anything to say at this time.
Thank you so much for joining our team, Danielle. I was just telling her earlier today that she's really set the bar high. She was one of the first people that I interviewed to be a potential employee here at Kent County Levy Court, and she really did set the bar high. She's been coming to work every day with that smile, and her competence has really surpassed anything that I could imagine. So she's been doing really great.
I would just like to thank everyone who had a process in me getting hired here. I appreciate everything that everyone has done. I'm going to continue to bring the smile and do what I can to make HR a better process or enhance our processes. Thank you all.
Thank you, Danielle. Ms. Hall, Mr. Hall? Mr. Hall?
Just wanted to welcome you to the county. We're very glad you're here, and I know Trudy is, so welcome aboard and hope you have a great career here.
Thank you.
Mr. Sweeney?
Danielle, welcome aboard. You've been a great help to me, even though I've not listened to you because I still owe you a medical form that I will be here tomorrow night for the survivors event, and I will make sure it gets to the county tomorrow, I promise.
Promise? Okay.
And President Pepper, if you're still online, you'd like to say anything, sir?
Welcome aboard. I've seen you in the halls and in the office a few times, and your smile just radiates and fills the whole room. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan, and welcome to the Levy Court family.
Thank you.
Any more introductions, Ms. Trudy? Okay, thank you. Okay. Public hearings. Ms. Kiefer?
Good evening, Commissioners. Just a word tonight about how the public hearing will be conducted. This public hearing is being conducted for the purpose of giving the citizens of the county the opportunity to present testimony on the application before the Levy Court. Everyone will have a chance to speak. All statements are to be made from the podium at the front of the room. For the record, please give your name and address. Copies of any written statements or exhibits used during the hearing should be presented for identification and inclusion in the record. For each application before the Levy Court, the President will introduce the application. Then the Levy Court will receive testimony from all of those in favor. Testimony will then be received from those who may be opposed. After everyone has had an opportunity to speak, the hearing on the application will be closed, and the Levy Court will take what action it deems appropriate. The Levy Court's decision will be based on public hearing testimony given at this meeting and a recommendation submitted to the Levy Court by the Regional Planning Commission. I would ask that that recommendation be included by reference in the permanent record of this meeting established by the Clerk of the Peace. The public notice of this hearing was published in the May 1st, 2024 edition of the Delaware State News. The ordinance before the levy court tonight, LC 2404, is a rezoning application. The site is 2 acres. The area in question is 0.8. It's on the west side of 13, northwest of Kathleen Drive, just south of Smyrna. The site is currently zoned a mix of BG, general business, and RMH, residential manufactured home. The proposal is to rezone the entire site to BG, general business, to allow redevelopment of it. The Regional Planning Commission took testimony at their May 2nd hearing, and at their May 9th business meeting, voted unanimously to recommend approval of the ordinance, citing that the proposal complies with the comprehensive plan and it is in keeping with the surrounding area. So again, this comes with a recommendation for approval. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Ms. Kiefer? Seeing none, thank you. Okay. Open the public hearing on LC 2404. Anybody in favor, please come and give your deposition. Anyone in favor? Anybody online, Mark?
If there's anyone joining us online who would like to speak in favor of this application, please indicate by raising your electronic hand at this time. I see no hands raised, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you. Anybody in opposition? Anybody in opposition of LC 2404? Seeing nobody move forth, close the public hearing. Ms. Masson?
I move that Levy Court approve ordinance LC 2404. This is based on RPC recommendation report and public hearing testimony and the findings of the fact that A, the character of the neighborhood is a mix of commercial and residential. B, this subject site is designated as a commercial area in the land use strategy, map 7C of the comprehensive plan. C, facilities are in place to serve development of the subject site. D, the proposed zoning classification is compatible with the surrounding area.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Masson, seconded by Commissioner Scott. Any further discussion? Mr. Naka, please call.
Mr. Hall?
Yes, based on staff and RPC recommendations.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes, based on RPC recommendations.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes, based on reasons stated.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes, reason stated.
Mr. Scott?
Yes, reason stated.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes, reason stated, no public opposition.
Mr. Angel?
Yes, all reasons stated.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Let the record show there's 7 in favor. Thank you. Closed. Old business, new business. Ms. Maston.
I motion that the Levy Court approve the proposed improvements to the Field of Dreams, including a 1,200 square foot concession building with restrooms and 4 70-foot light poles in keeping with the terms of the lease. The conditions of approval for the commercial recreation facility remain in force and effect. For reference, the conditions of approval include: number 1, the hours of operation shall be 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Sunday. Any lighting shall be full cut off, preventing light leakage into adjacent properties. Amplified music is prohibited. Trash receptacles shall be installed on the site behind a locked gate and regular removal service secured. The existing buffer along the property line adjacent to Verona Woods shall be augmented. The existing landscape buffers surrounding the property shall remain unless prior approval is granted by Levy Court. A sign shall be installed on the property listing the same rules posted at each of the county parks, and pyrotechnic displays are prohibited. In addition, the levy court's discussion of the application made clear only sporting events are prohibited on the site. Non-sporting events, including but not limited to carnivals, festivals, and car shows, are prohibited.
Second the motion. Any further discussion? Was there anything on signage here, Commissioner Masson?
I'm sorry, sir?
Anything on signage? I thought we had added 2 things.
Ms. Kiefer?
For the record, Ms. Maston, I'm sorry, Ms. Kiefer, did you intend to say that only sporting events are permitted on the site? Is that what I understood you to mean?
Thank you.
I'm asking Ms. Maston a question.
I said, in addition, the levy court's discussion of the application made clear only sporting events are prohibited on the site.
Thank you.
Non-sporting events, including but not limited to carnivals, festivals, and car shows. Okay, we're going to try this again. In addition, the levy court's discussion of the application made clear only sporting events are permitted on the site. Non-sporting events, including but not limited to carnivals, festivals, and car shows, are prohibited. Sorry.
Thank you.
Good catch, Greg. Thank you. Yes, thank you, sir.
I thought
We almost turned it into a picnic area.
Motion was made by Commissioner Masson. I second it. Any further discussion? Mr. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
I think that the limitations that have been placed by the levy court commissioners accurately addresses the issues that have occurred with Rona Woods. So my vote's yes.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Let the record show there's 7 in favor. Okay, next one, Mr. Hall, introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Introducing ordinance LC 24-16, reason increasing exemption limit to Chapter 191, taxation, Article 1, disabled property owner and senior citizen exemption for public hearing on June 4th, 2024 at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you. Ms. Tanaka, can you read Resolution 4055 into the record, please?
Resolution 4055, legislative requests. Whereas the Kent County Levy Court has met in workshops and more recently in a luncheon for the Kent County Legislative Delegation to discuss various topics, including desired changes in state law. And whereas the honorable members of the legislative delegation have asked the Levy Court to indicate its support of those legislative changes by formal action of the governing body. Now therefore be it resolved that we respectfully request the Kent County Legislative Delegation support the following changes in state law, specifically: 1, the state law be amended to broadly authorize Kent County by local ordinance to establish, amend, and dissolve utility districts for services such as sewerage, trash, streetlights, stormwater, and other services. 2, that state law be amended to eliminate the requirement for Kent County to establish and maintain a county farmland preservation advisory board. 3, that the Kent County Levy Court supports the legislation drafted by Sussex County, amended Delaware Code Title 9, Chapter 83, Valuation and Assessment of Property as it applies to Kent County. 4, that the Kent County Levy Court continues to support enabling legislation to adopt a lodging tax, and that the Levy Court has no interest in adopting any such tax for the coming fiscal year. 5, that state law be amended to protect the personal information of law enforcement officers maintained by the county, particularly in land records, and for such information to be protected from disclosure in the same manner as authorized in state law for judicial officers. Number 6, that the Kent County Levy Court continues to support increased state funding of emergency medical services to the extent practicable, given the state's challenging financial situation. Be it further resolved that the Levy Court express its deep appreciation of the legislative delegation's thoughtful consideration of this resolution. Be it further resolved that the Levy Court thanks the legislative delegation for its continued leadership, interest in, and support of local governments, and long-standing commitments to working in partnership with local officials furthering the interests of our shared constituents.
Thank you, Ms. Tanaka. 2 real quick points. First of all, number 4, the enabling legislation to adopt a lodging tax. While it is looking more and more likely that this will not occur in this General Assembly, it does not mean that Levy Court commissioners either don't support it or that we're not interested in equitable legislation, that if it's good for one county, it's good for all 3 counties. Second point, number 6, DFAC report came back and showed that the state's financial position is in a much better situation than they expected, and that I'm hoping that they're looking at our EMS as a possible area where they'll provide us, if not changing the formula, at least providing us some funds to help throughout the year. I move to approve Resolution 4055, legislative request.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Sweeney, second by Commissioner Maston. Any further discussion? Ms. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston? Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Let the record show 7 in favor. Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Next one.
Second, introduction of ordinance LC 24-17, referring to Community Services Fee Schedule Update for public hearing on Tuesday, June 4th, 2024 at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Mr. Hertz.
Yeah, I want to introduce ordinance LC 24-11, an ordinance to amend the Code of Kent County, Chapter 180, by making deletions as shown by strike-through and insertions as shown by underline. It'll be up for public hearing on June 4th, 2024 at 7 p.m. The second introduction is an ordinance repealing Chapter 128 Fees Table 128-1 Public Works Fee Schedule and replacing it with a new table 128I-1 for public hearing on Tuesday, June 4th, 2024 at 7 p.m.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Hall, independent CPA.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Before I make a motion, I see that Ms. Durham's here. If she wants to come down and say a few words.
Good evening. Before you is a motion for an extension to the audit contract. In FY21, we did an RFP for audit services. We awarded a 3-year contract with 2 possible extensions, so we are asking to extend it for FY24. The rate they came back with was
for the amount of $89,000 per year in accordance with the specification listed in RFP 21-FIN-01 and subject to all terms, conditions, and requirements provided therein. The funding source for the audit will be the annual adopted budget for audit services.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hall, seconded by Commissioner Maston. Any further discussion? Ms. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. Let the record show there's 7 in favor. Just for clarification, we did do Mr. Hall on the introduction of ordinance LC 2416, correct? I was just asked that question. I thought we did. Yes.
For the exemption?
It's in an intro. You forget me straight.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Action items from the May 7th workshop. I'm going to turn the gavel over to Commissioner Sweeney so I can make the motion.
Commissioner Angel, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions on this before I read the motion? I move to approve an increase in compensation for the Board of Assessment to review for the formal hearings related to fiscal 24 reassessment as presented, specifically that the members be paid $300 a day for full days, $150 for half days, and that the chair be paid $350 days for full days and $175 for half days. And where this rate of pay shall apply to all 4 hearing conducted in May 2024.
That's a motion. We need a second.
Second.
Motion made by Vice President Angel, seconded by Commissioner Scott. Ms. Tanaka, please call the roll.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you, Ms. Tanaka. The Board of Assessment Review members' compensation has been approved. Back to you, Vice President Angel.
Thank you, Commissioner Sweeney. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I have a grant application from Hand to Heartbeat Incorporated for a community event promotional grant in the amount of $750 to support their CPR relay event on Saturday. Before I make the motion, is there anyone here that would like to speak to that?
Jeff, I can probably help you out a little bit with it. It's a yearly thing that they've started doing, and they're actually going for the Guinness Book of World Records for consistent CPR through what they call pit crew, where it's just a constant rotation of people switching out and doing CPR, similar to what we do in the field. Just this is going to be done a lot longer. It's going to be a consistent basis. It shows a lot of loyalty and dedication from the EMS Delaware, so it's a real good event.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate that, Commissioner Scott. There's no questions. I move to award a community event promotional grant in the amount of $750 to Hand to Heartbeat Incorporated to to assist with the cost of purchasing a banner and hosting the Guinness World Records representative for the CPR relay event that was held in Cheswold on Saturday, May 18th, 2024.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Hall, seconded by Commissioner Scott. Any further discussion? Ms. Tanaka, please call roll.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Let the record show 7 in favor.
Do we know if they
Did they win?
Did they break the record since it was this past Saturday?
No.
Don't know.
No. Well, let's try. Commissioner Sweeney, you're up next, sir.
Thank you. This item was discussed in the May 7th workshop, the lease extension of the 26 Star Lifter property to Polytech School District Adult Education. Is there any questions before I make my motion? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve a 3-year extension of the lease of the county property at 26 Star Lifter to the Polytech School District to continue its aviation maintenance program under the same terms and conditions as the existing lease, and to authorize the county attorney to prepare the amended lease and to authorize the president of Levy Court to sign the lease when prepared.
Second.
Who second? Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Sweeney, seconded by Commissioner Hertz. Any further discussion? Ms. Tanaka, please call roll.
Mr. Hall?
Before I vote, it was unfortunate that I couldn't be here at the workshop last week because I intended to share this. But throughout the process with the Starlifter site, the project's been touted as the only training program like this in the region. But I just want, before I vote, I'm going to share that Delaware Tech has an aircraft maintenance, both for the airframe and for the propulsion system in Sussex County, and has had that for many years now. So I don't see the need for this, nor the need to drag this out, so I'm voting no.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 nay.
Let the record show there are 6 in favor and 1 no vote. It passes. Thank you. Okay, other business. Commissioner Sweeney, number 1, please.
We have executive session tonight?
No.
No. Then number 2, right? Number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Move to go into executive session immediately following the committee meetings or workshop on June 4th, 2024 for a preliminary discussion on site acquisition for a publicly funded capital improvement, legal strategy session regarding collective bargaining or pending or potential litigation, and personnel matters pursuant to 29 Del Code 10,004 B2, 4, and 9.
Motion made by Commissioner Sweeney on number 2. Second.
Second.
Commissioner Scott, any further discussion? Ms. Tanaka, please call roll.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Vice President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Let the record show there's 7 in favor. County Administrator, we're having 7 business meetings in June. So do we still need to read number 1?
No, I think number 2, because as I read it now, it looks like we're, if we need to have a session on June 4th, that we'd be set. But we do, to your question or point, we do have 4 business meetings slated for the month because of the necessity to introduce all of the budget ordinances, resolutions, the tax rates, and the sewer fund resolutions and rates.
Sir? Any informational items?
Well, don't forget tomorrow night is the second annual Cardiac Arrest Survivors Reunion right here at Kent County Levy Court. 6 p.m.
Anybody else? Okay. Any public comments? Any public comments? Any commissioner comments? Anybody online, Mark? I should have asked.
If there's anyone joining us online that would like to make public comments at this time, please indicate by raising an electronic hand or pressing *3 if you're joining us by phone. I see no hands raised, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. And I get a motion to adjourn in a second.
So make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Scott, seconded by Commissioner Maston. All in favor?
Aye.
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 We're 7 out. Thank you.
Commissioner or President Pepper, are you coming back next week?
I'm thinking about
Well, if you're online, can you try to figure out a way to drown out the seagulls and the waves?
it. Did you hear the wave?
Right when you first got on, yeah, but not after that. Have a good trip, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate all of you. Have a good one.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Have you been to Burgers and Brews? I went last year before it closed. We're going to go again this year. I'm not. I'm not. Happy wife, happy life.
I'm going to text Uncle
Sure.
Kurt and
No.
say, I love Burgers and Brews. Can't wait to see you there.
It's good. It is so good, yeah.
Do it. I went last year too, yeah.
So what did you mean by
Yeah, tell it. You can come.